It's a breath of fresh air to be talking to somebody in Idaho right now. It's just a bit testy in Washington, D.C., you might imagine.
That was Congressman Russ Fulcher yesterday on Nate Shellman's afternoon KBOI radio show. To be fair, Congressman, we offered you some of the fresh air ourselves yesterday when we asked you to speak with us, but we were ignored, as we have been for the last several months. As you heard, Mr. Fulcher was able to make time for a 10-minute radio interview after he posted a video attempting to explain why he plans on objecting the results of some electoral college votes in a joint session of Congress tomorrow. Here's more of that explanation.
What do we know for sure? What we know for sure is that there are several states that broke their own law. Pennsylvania is the poster child. They bypassed their legislative branch and they adjusted their election rules. Everything from the ballots to curing those ballots to no signature verification. They broke their law in multiple ways because they went around the legislature and Article 1, Section 2, Clause 1. U.S. Constitution says it's the legislature only. You hang your hat on that and you present that to the chair. Who's the chair? Mike Pence. Present that to the chair. Let the chair do what the chair is supposed to do. And so there will be nothing that I say, there will be no objection that I make that I can't prove. And so that's the ground we need to stand on. We let the process play out the way the process plays out. But yes, I will object, and everything that I say, I can prove.
If Congressman Fulcher had taken the time to speak with us, we would have asked him what proof he had. But since he doesn't seem to want to tip his hand or even answer our questions, let's look at what he did say yesterday. The poster child, Pennsylvania. They broke their own laws, Fulcher said, from the ballots to curing those ballots to no signature verification. All right, let's start with the ballots. I assume, because he won't talk to us, he means the state allowing ballots to be accepted after Election Day. But back in October, the U.S. Supreme Court allowed Pennsylvania to count mail-in ballots received by election officials up to 3 days after Election Day, even without a clear postmark. It was a 4-4 split vote, which left the state court's decision in place. Also, no excuse mail-in voting has been a thing in Pennsylvania since October of 2019. It's known as Act 77. It was a law passed by the state legislature and signed by the governor. Okay, so what about canvassing or even curing ballots? The governor of Pennsylvania tried to give more time to process ballots before Election Day, but Republican state lawmakers, well, they blocked that effort, according to PolitiFact. And curing ballots, which is allowing people to fix flawed ballots, well, one lawsuit to discount them was ultimately dismissed by the Commonwealth Court. In another, a judge ruled some mail-in ballots could not be counted, but not enough to change the outcome, like somewhere around 2,100 in the state's largest county. Finally, the signature verification. Back in October, the state Supreme Court unanimously prohibited counties from rejecting ballots if the signatures don't exactly match, saying it would disenfranchise voters based on an arbitrary and wholly subjective basis. Again, we would love to bring these up to Representative Fulcher ourselves, but that would require he answer our emails. Here's what he said, though, about his chances of putting up a viable objection.
I'm just hopeful that everything gets exposed. That's the end game. In fact, another member asked me in a tense meeting earlier today, says, "What's your end game here?" I said, "My end game is to get to the truth. My end game is to expose wrongdoing so this kind of stuff doesn't continue to happen." We know what's going on. Do I know that it will flip the results? No, but I know it's going on. And so do they. And so in those cases, we take a look at it. That's the best thing that we can do right now. And frankly, that's our job.
His job, Fulcher went on to say, is about oversight, pointing out if there is wrongdoing. He doesn't believe the federal government should be setting a state's election laws, though. But if all the other avenues that they have tried have turned into dead ends, what other recourse is he looking for at this point? Also, does he have a senator to co-sign his objection? If not, it's invalid. All questions we have tried to ask. So I guess we'll just have to watch and see what happens and see what evidence the congressman has tomorrow. Since September, we have extended several invitations to answer our questions. I have sent 8 emails to his staff that have gone all unanswered. Which leads us to this point. We understand, with all the social media avenues at their disposal, we understand elected officials, they don't need us, the media, to get their messages out. They can just hunker down in their echo chambers and say whatever they want and receive little pushback. And this doesn't only apply to Congressman Fulcher. We've had several emails and phone calls to Representative Mike Simpson and Senator Mike Crapo that have gone unanswered. At least Senator Risch gets back to us once in a while with a "sorry, not today" email. So why are we pushing so hard to get a single comment from one elected official who continues to ignore our requests? Well, the answer's simple. Because they represent you, all of you, us, even those that have questions. Their job is to advocate on your behalf in Washington. Another part of their job is to provide updates to you, their constituents, but not just in unfettered statements. Sometimes that job requires them to answer tough questions from us media folks. It is our job to report accurate information and to hold elected officials accountable, yes. And that means asking for an understanding of where they stand and why. So if you're okay with them just holding forth without an opportunity for a little back and forth, well, then I guess we get what we vote for. But it is our job to keep questioning them even when they won't answer.